And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! Let Freedom Ring Edition, July 3rd, 2022. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is the, quote, personal act of reclamation made by our beloved representative of the people, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She went live on Instagram to protest the evil government that she is proudly part of. By her take, she has taken away her own rights by giving the people back theirs, and thus deserves some payback. Part of that reclamation process is to be proud of her legacy as an ungovernable and loose woman, and to get her nails done in protest of Roe v. Wade. Her great personal sacrifice shall forever be recorded in the history books as the great Neiman Marcus resistance manicure. Okay, this isn't really news, but I swear I am not making this up. Musician R. Kelly received a 30-year sentence for his multiple counts of sex trafficking, which is a stark contrast to the 20-year minimum security sweetheart deal of Ghislaine Maxwell, who helped run an entire child trafficking empire. It just goes to show you how important it is to make friends with royals and Clintons. The Supreme Court left for their Independence Day break by fittingly setting off political fireworks. After setting the coasts on fire with reversing Roe, forcing New York to allow its citizens their constitutional rights, and limiting the EPA of its chokehold on all energy, the inclusive, tolerant left has been calling Justice Clarence Thomas racial slurs that would make the KKK blush while planning a summer of riots and lynch parties for the court as a whole. Liberals were handed a small victory when SCOTUS ruled that Biden could indeed end the Remain in Mexico mandate set by the evil Orange Man. Sadly, this decision goes directly against the U.S. Border Patrol Agency and all governors of states along the porous border where illegal immigrants are pouring in, along with drugs, violence, and sex-trafficked children. As Biden has not allowed them to detain anyone, border control agents have been forced to be nothing but Uber drivers for the literally thousands of illegals invading our country on a daily basis. Speaking of state-assistant cartel smuggling, sad news this week as an abandoned tractor-trailer full of deceased immigrants was discovered in the sweltering heat of San Antonio. Several more had to be hospitalized, making the total death toll 51 human lives thus far, many of which were children. Looks like Biden's open borders are working just like he planned. The January 6th committee has gotten so bored with making up their own stories and Hollywood-inspired propaganda that now they're bringing in surprise star witnesses who weren't even there, so literally witnessed nothing. In a dramatic recollection missing nothing but a puppet show, former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson spoke of an angry orange POTUS with Spider-Man-like dexterity, Hulk-like strength, and LeBron James-like dunking skills with ketchup. Rhino Liz Cheney was so moved by the melodrama that she couldn't wait to give Hutchinson a big hug after her performance. When the Secret Service agents named in the Dog and Pony Show offered to testify under oath that everything Hutchinson said was a big fat hairy lie, the committee said they weren't interested in any facts or observations for people who were actually present. What kind of unconstitutional, unfactual, one-sided investigation do you think this is? Cheney asked with disdain. In response to global food and gas shortages, as well as the recent unrest in Europe, NATO has formally invited once neutral Sweden and Finland to join the organization after both nations have spent decades enjoying their socialist-inspired utopias while not having to protect themselves from any foreign dangers because, as usual, the U.S. foots the bill for protecting the rest of the world. While we paid more than $811 billion, most of the other NATO members could not be bothered to chip in the agreed-upon 2% of their GDP, thus acting like welfare baby mamas. And as usual, we're the cucks. For years now, we've been told by Biden himself, if not all of his fawning fake news sycophants, that the president has nothing to do with gas prices. But when the New York Times' Jim Tankersley actually did some real journalizing and asked Biden, how long is it fair to expect American drivers to pay that premium for the war in Ukraine, dear leader replied, as long as it takes. It seems he has a hand in it after all. Both he and his advisor Brian Deese had earlier touted the importance of maintaining the, quote, liberal world order, end quote, which apparently means we the people starve and go homeless while we pay for every other nation's wars. King Brandon then went on into some gibberish about how Putin is to blame for everything that Biden himself predictably screwed up because, as many recall, he stated over and over when campaigning from his basement, the buck stops here. Perhaps he should have said, the ruble stops here. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.